Welcome to Disgusting Design, where creativity meets conversation. I'm Yash, your host, and today we dive into the vibrant world of design with my fellow co-hosts Daisy and Jonathan.
Hey everyone, I'm Daisy. I'm an artist and also a designer. I often find myself pondering the design choices behind everyday objects, and from everything to the ergonomics of a chair to the aesthetics of packaging.
I'm Jonathan, ready to uncover the elegance of good design.
Today, the spotlight is all about creativity and innovation and on what makes a good design.
I think first of all, simplicity is very important. We want to make sure that elderly and also children are able to understand the functionality of a product and they're able to learn the functionality quickly. And second of all, I think aesthetics can really impact the way users interact with a product, even subconsciously. The way it looks can evoke certain memories or emotions. So that is something designers should always pay attention to. A product that is innovative is also successful.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. For me, I think the most important part would definitely be usability. Similar to what you said earlier, it has to be usable by the user in the sense that it's intuitive. Functionally, it works and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. So I guess that ties into honesty as well. The product is not trying to deceive you of trying to do something it can't do or not doing something it looks like it is able to do. And when it's honest, it makes it far more intuitive for the user because it does exactly what it looks like it can do.
I think we all agree on the utility of the design. So for me, utility is also one of the principles that I value the most. I want the object's form to follow its function. If there's anything on there that doesn't serve a purpose, it might as well be discarded. I also value unobtrusiveness because design, as Dieter Ram put it, are neither decorative objects nor works of art. They should be neutral and should leave room for users' self-expression. The last value that I value the most is that it should be long-lasting and reliable. I feel like today we live in the age of consumerism, where a lot of firms and a lot of designs are built to promote purchasing of more of it in a short period of time. And this is one value that's gone missing, but I'd like to see it come back, where products are well engineered, well built, and last for 10 years down the line. That's all for section 1. And for section 2, I'd like to jump in upon a specific design, that being gaming chairs.
So with gaming chairs, it's quite interesting because they've become very, very popular in the past few years, especially with all the streaming platforms taking a massive popularity hit. The issue behind them is that they fundamentally are still chairs for you to sit on for a long time. And this is where comfort really matters. But there's a major debate online about whether gaming chairs can really achieve that because many people say, unfortunately, a classic chair, like one that you would find in an office or something, turns out to still be more comfortable than a gaming chair that you might spend twice as much on.
My own experience with gaming chairs is that I've been to Price Right and I've seen that beside the office chairs, they also provide generic gaming chairs. Myself, I've also tested them out. What I noticed is that the back is very straight, and also in terms of the shape, enclosing around you, it's more on the expensive side due to being trendy, but also the pandemic has led to lots of people working from home. In conjunction with seeing lots of streamers with gaming chairs, there has been a huge market for them. For example, the highest selling one on Amazon has generated $11 million in revenue, and so businesses do see a very high demand for these chairs at the moment.
I think that makes sense. My personal experience has been with one of the same generic gaming chairs. So mine was from IKEA, and it's called the IKEA Utespelare, and it's about 900 Hong Kong dollars if you are to buy it straight from the shop. And I also bought a lumbar support from IKEA to use in complement with that. And it is very much like you described, Daisy. It's very generic, so there's no creature comforts at all. It has a very faux leather coating on it, and over time that wears out. It's got very generic, like plastic armrests that serve the purpose of an armrest, but do not provide any comfort, especially over long periods of usage. I think one of the things that brands really see as an opportunity here is how they can put it into mass production, and that's why they're turning towards these faux leather materials or materials that are not really up to the mark.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting because the idea of calling something gaming seems to take away the quality that it's supposed to have. Like with a chair, it's designed for you to sit in it and usually for a long period of time. But by calling a chair a gaming chair, all of a sudden it can get away with not being as comfortable as an office chair or just any chair for that matter. You guys have had experience with gaming chair. Even though I game, I bought myself an office chair just from IKEA, I think, for about $600 Hong Kong dollars or something.
Right, the price right gaming chair was like over $1,000.
Exactly. And I have to say, it being just a very generic office chair was perfectly fine for gaming. Even though it didn't have a headrest like most gaming chairs do, sitting in it was perfectly fine in comparison to some of my friends' gaming chairs, where if you sit on it, you realize that the foam at the bottom of it has weared out so much you might as well just be sitting on a stool because it's so hard.
Exactly. I mean, I legitimately thought that the Herman Miller executive chair was a gaming chair because that was the context that I first heard the chair from. So actually, the shape of the gaming chair is based off of racing chairs because of games like Need for Speed that wanted to simulate that experience. This shape is not meant for sitting at a desk for hours and hours. The shape of the headrest that flares out and the side protruding bits are actually meant to protect the person driving.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now that I think about it, because typically bucket seats, they're very contoured to hold a person rigidly in place when they're thrown about here and there when driving a car around the track. Usually they have a very deep seat and exaggerated sides, which almost partially enclose the driver during movement in high-performance automobiles because of the G's that throw them all around. They usually have a form of advanced lateral support, and they also come with racing harnesses. Those combined together really keep the driver in place and do not allow for freedom of movement, which makes sense when we think about how gaming chairs are not so comfortable for long gaming sessions.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense because I don't think you're designed to sit in a racing car for like 8 or 12 hours or something. And having the original gaming chair simulate a racing car makes a lot of sense because it is what it's supposed to simulate. But I think here is where the other the more modern gaming chairs that we see nowadays get something wrong, which is the idea of the bucket seat has become so iconic in a gaming chair. They rely on that as the fundamental part of the design. Now, this is a problem with form follows function or function follows form, and also a design honesty of what the chair is supposed to do. They've modified the concept of the bucket seat so much that now all it retains is just the form, but it does not have the function of the original bucket seat, which is supposed to protect you. That is, I'd say, a reasonable thing to do since it wasn't comfortable. But the thing is, it's also still not as comfortable as a traditional ergonomic chair that you see Herman Miller make, which is fairly honest and very user intuitive because it's a chair, you sit in it and you feel comfortable. So here is where there's a lot of improvements that can be made with existing gamer chairs. And also probably the reason why a lot of streamers nowadays recommend just get a Herman Miller chair instead of a gaming chair. It costs the same and you'll feel a lot more comfortable anyways.
It also feeds into this unobtrusiveness that I mentioned before. Nowadays, because the gaming chair is so centered around echoing a racing seat, it is very obtrusive because the sides are protruding, the neck rest is not really up to the mark and is not actually supporting the neck, but rather trying to keep it in a position.
Or the lumbar.
And I feel like in an attempt of mimicking a racing seat, it is occupying the space that it should be leaving for the use of self-expression. Not to mention that, like all other products these days, they are also not very long-lasting. Personal experience, I recently broke my own gaming chair and I had to spend about an hour just to fix its armrest all over again. Ideally, it should be a design where, if it was a good design, it would be invisible because it would simply play its function and allow me to go about my day without noticing it having any problems.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who walks into an office and points out the chairs, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to just fit in like it belongs there anyways.
It's just the title of a gaming chair is just way too profitable right now. And so companies are rushing to go to the cheapest manufacturer in China. Sorry, I didn't want to make this political.
It didn't. Okay, you can just say cheapest manufacturer.
It's true though. Like
it is true.
And so we have a pandemic on Amazon right now where we see replicas of the same gaming chairs that are actually from the same manufacturer, but companies stick their own brand onto it. And so we see, oh crap, that was not a good sentence. So lots of these. I have so many ideas. Sorry.
Take your time. You can, as I gave you a tip, I gave one tip that maybe even you can use. If you're having to process a lot, or if you're not able to figure out what to say next, let's just try to slow our pace and speak at a pace that I'm currently speaking at.
Yeah.
So while we are actually talking out our point, we can
I do
use the
speed up
milliseconds
sometimes.
or
Yeah.
so.
Don't speak faster than you can think.
Yeah.
You run out of things to say.
I can never be a live translator.
You wanna revisit that point, and then maybe we can end it. I think we have more materials
So
that
we
we
have
can
lots of
fit.
material.
Mhm.
So actually, there's a pandemic right now, COVID. There's a pandemic on. I've noticed that there's a pandemic on Amazon where lots of gaming chairs, despite, as you said, like they have prioritized form over function, but a lot of these chairs look ironically the same. They're all dark. They have the brand logo on it, and it's actually because lots of these companies are capitalizing on this new fad, and so they're sourcing the cheapest manufacturer they can find and slapping their own sticker onto it, resulting in gaming chairs being terrible quality, as we observed.
Hopefully the situation improves and we're able to see some quality changes in the design of a gaming chair. Ideally, we'll have a gaming chair which will actually allow us to spend 8 to 12 hours gaming, although that's not what our audience may want. To wrap up, that's been our first episode on design of the gaming chair. Peace out.